Hi cuties, so today we finally got the reveal of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus 4 trailer. I made a vidya not too long ago when it was first leaked by my dog Tyshawn Jones, and it was nothing but a rumor at that point, but here we are now with it fully being released. A delicious 4K trailer as well as a couple clips comparing the original games to the newly remade skating gameplay. And wow, I mean bro, it looks absolutely scrumptious. They announced that it's going to come out July 11th, so not too far away, and it of course will be launching day one on Game Pass, or you can buy it for only 50 smackarooskies, so it's not even a full price video game either, which is super dope. But I hate to say it, you guys, I have quite a few things to yap and complain about. Before I really go balls deep though, I want to say I will love and support this franchise no matter what because it's personally one of my favorite pieces of media ever, and I want it to be as successful as possible. However, there were a myriad of red flags that I saw in the trailer that made my stomach churn a little bit, so we must discuss this, seeing as how I am the greatest skateboarding YouTuber gamer ever. I would like to discuss the elephant in the room, which is I did not see Bam Margera once in that motherfucking trailer, y'all. I talked about it with a few of you cuties in the comments of my last video, theorizing whether or not they were going to keep the roster exactly the same by bringing back Bam Margera, and it's looking like they don't want none of his problems. I get it, he's a super polarizing, controversial ass dude in Big 2025, so I completely understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, the fan base really wanted to see him back, I think, because this version of him in the early 2000s is a guy we all looked up to, and he was the biggest star in skateboarding at one point. And it's just truly a shame that there's a possibility he simply will not be a playable skater at all. I mean, not to mention, I play as him pretty much any time I play these games. Like, I was the biggest Viva La Bam fan ever, bro. Who knows? Maybe they just didn't want to show him in a trailer, but I highly doubt it. Now, let's just move on to the biggest, most concerning news of all. It's looking like they might be nuking the open world format of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Now, I'm gonna just say it right now. I am incredibly biased because 4 is tied with Underground for my favorite out of all the Tony Hawk games, y'all. But man, if that is true, I just went from ecstatic to a little sad bitch. If you watch the trailer, it definitely seemed like they showed 90% Pro Skater 3 maps, which is awesome. They look fantastic. But I think they hid a lot of the Pro Skater 4 ones for this exact reason. If you take a look at this PlayStation article where they talk about the game and its announcement, they specifically mention how it's a streamlined 2-minute timer remake, and nowhere do they say that that's just for Pro Skater 3. The only other thing that I could find where it says otherwise was Xbox's article that states it's the original world tours from both games, but that doesn't necessarily say it's identical, you smell me? It could just be miswording or mistyping on both of these articles, but it's looking like they're just going to give Pro Skater 4 10 goals per level instead of the open world original format and all its wackiness like sketching the elephant and shit, you remember that? And I'm just going to be very real with y'all, that is super deflating to hear. Listen, I know a lot of people point to Pro Skater 4 and say it's where the series started to take a turn for the worst, and perhaps it puts a damper on the overall arcadey flow from the first 3 Pro Skater games, but I wholeheartedly disagree. It amped up the fun factor by adding in so many wacky ass outlandish goals, you truly don't know what the game is going to ask you to do next. So say what you will about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, I find it very odd to remove everything that made it unique simply to include it in this remaster package. I get it might have been a gigantic undertaking to bring back every single little thing from Pro Skater 4, like from the pro challenges and shit like that, so why force 4 into this package if that was the case, you know what I mean? I am sure most people would have been fine with them separating these games and remaking them one at a time. I mean, I even said it in my last video, I always wondered how they were going to put these 2 games together in a remake since they're so different in the way challenges are handled. Do not get me wrong, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 looked absolutely fucking amazing and I cannot wait to dive in. But at the same time, if you're a good Tony Hawk player such as myself, you can beat that game in like 2 hours, and I am not exaggerating because I just did it when I was recording this motherfucking gameplay. Granted, I play these games all the time, so I know what I'm doing, but when it comes to Pro Skater 4, that's a longer game that has a bunch of meat and potatoes to it to really pad out that playtime. I mean, think about it, now they're going to have to pick levels where they're going to have to turn them into competition ones like in Pro Skater 3. I guess maybe Kona would be one since it fucking sucks. Sorry, I said it. I just don't understand why they would take this route. You're remaking a game, but also nuking it of its personality. And I hate to say it, but that feels a little rushed to me, you know what I mean? I'd love to see the new skaters like Yudo in there, that's dope as fuck, like there's still shit to get excited about, and I hate to critique it, because at the end of the day, it's more fun Tony Hawk gaming. But Pro Skater 4 is a game that perhaps should have got its own separate remake to have most of its original content remain. I've just seen so many people express disappointment in the fact that they will not be able to play the game that got so many people invested in the series. Like, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 isn't just some random piece of shit, it's a lot of gamers' favorite for a reason. And I know I may be going out on a limb by saying all this because it's technically not 100% confirmed, but I mean, even in the trailer, I saw no NPCs in the tiny amount of college and San Francisco gameplay that they showed. So I mean, it's just looking real bleak, y'all. Listen, at the end of the day, I am obviously still super excited, but let me put it like this. I am glad this hoe is launching on Game Pass because at this point, I wouldn't really want to pay for it at full price since I'm not getting a full game remake, you know what I mean? It wouldn't even be an issue if they just simply ported those original games exactly how they were or emulate them on modern platforms, you know? I'm just glad I got all my OG consoles so I can simply play that original whenever the fuck I want, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 just deserves better, man. Especially for people who might be dropping in for the very first time here in Big 25. Now, as far as gameplay goes, it's looking very similar to 1+2, which is great. I mean, I think Vicarious Visions absolutely snapped there, although there were tiny things I didn't like about it, but Iron Galaxy is the team behind this remake package. For those of you who are completely unaware or didn't watch my last video, whatever, Vicarious Visions is no more. They just got absolved and really only help on Diablo 4 now, so it's up to Iron Galaxy to really keep the ball rolling here, and that leads to a tiny bit of concern. But if they're developing it using the exact same engine that Vicarious Vision used, then we should be solid. But I mean, I was there when they had Robomoto do the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD shit, which should have been an easy layup, but they smoked that hoe. Terrible game. The box art shows off one of the newer maps that they're adding, which is a really awesome thing to see. And guys, there is a tiny bit of good news because in this little gameplay clip here showing it off, we do get to see some NPCs standing around. Now, I'm not sure if it's a direct confirmation that the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 style will be intact, seeing as how there were NPCs in Pro Skater 3 as well, but who fucking knows? Maybe I just yapped and complained for absolutely no reason. We gonna have to wait and see. All in all, though, this package should be a super fun time, and with the other cool additions like custom challenges and user-created parks, this game should have a decently long lifespan, and I truly cannot wait to hop back in, even though I'm pretty concerned at this moment. I'm super curious to see how you guys are feeling about it though. Do you think my concerns are valid, or perhaps would you be glad to see Pro Skater 4 get streamlined? Let me know down below for real, let's talk. That's really about it though, y'all. Make sure to McTwist on the like button, perhaps 900 on that subscribe, and I love you guys. Bye!